All right, guys, welcome to the Onelife podcast. My guest today is Kathy. Kathy runs Taste Buzz Food Tours. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We've known each other for a good couple of years now.
I think it's been a while, at least since 2017. So that's at least 5 years, yeah.
And I've seen you kind of
6
like
years.
starting the business, the hustles, the ups and downs over the time.
Yeah.
First question, what makes you want to do a food tour?
Where it was kind of, I guess it kind of
'Cause you're a
happened
foodie, right?
organically.
But you're a foodie at heart, right?
I guess I would say I am, yeah. Like I love food in general, like that's my thing. And growing up here in Las Vegas and in the food and beverage industry. And then at the time when I started it, everything was like all glitz and glamoury, like Las Vegas. Obviously it still is very much so, but now, like the way we've even shaped within the last few years, it's been such like a more localized kind of feel. But like when I first started, I was really like, there's a lot of other cool things about Vegas than just the Las Vegas Strip, right?
So you're born and bred here, right?
Yeah.
So you're a local at heart.
Yeah.
So yeah, have you seen that picture? It's like what people think Vegas looks like and what it really looks like.
Maybe
It's like a picture of the Strip, what people think Vegas looks like, and then shows the suburbs, what Vegas actually looks like.
Got it. Yeah. Okay.
But that's going back to what you say. There's so many other things in Vegas.
Well, I remember it being like a question. I mean, you see it when you're flying in, like it's brown, like everywhere. And it's just like track homes and there's, not a lot of color. And then right in the middle of the city, it's like all these mega resorts. It's kind of like a fantasy land.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
isn't
pretty
it?
much like one street. And then, but that's the idea that everybody thinks Las Vegas is like, I guess. But no, it's always been kind of, it's always been a desert, not kind of a desert. It is a desert.
It's just a desert. It keeps growing. I follow a Instagram page and it's like Vintage Vegas and it shows pictures from like 1964, It's crazy what wasn't there not too long ago. Like and everybody who's like, you're in your 30s, 40s, you've seen it like progress over the time. Yeah. But it's so hard to imagine it not being like that and suburbs not being connected and things, right?
Well, so when I was growing up, I remember the drive to the airport was in the middle of the airport was in the middle of nowhere. And so it was just desert on the way there. And I believe like I remember Rainbow being like so far away. And it was kind of newer at the time. Like we would drive in that area every once in a while.
That's like literally a central road now.
And now it's right in the middle of the city. It's not even considered west. Like
what area did you grow up in?
In the center of the city, like kind of by Huntridge Circle, which is like up and coming and booming now, like Maryland and Charleston.
Oh, that's where you grew up.
Yeah, like right where the Huntridge Theater is, like right behind there.
So you grew up right. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. So you're being right in the mix of it.
Yeah, but and it's funny too because growing up, like it was whatever, like a regular neighborhood. The houses were fine, like nice, and then getting a little bit older. And then the city started growing and then you have like Silverado High School or whatever, like Henderson starts growing and popping up, a couple places in Summerlin start growing. And then when I out of college, when I came back, when we're jumping all over the place, but like when I was in my 20s, everybody that I met in the like hospitality industry, so like working on the Strip, they're like, you got to move to like Southern Highlands, you got to move to Summerlin, you got to move to Henderson, like that's what. And I'm like, well, I live in the middle of the city, and everyone was like, it's so ghetto, like don't live. And I'm like, it's really not that bad, like it's normal. And everyone's like, it's so gross over there. And then what a flip within the past like 3 years or 5, maybe 5, but I mean like within recently, everyone's like, I want a cool house in the middle of the city. And they're like, now that's like vintage Vegas is coming back. And
that's
I'm like,
interesting.
All the same people that were like anti-center of town are now like, yeah, that's the coolest place to be.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
In this area, like this is like known as like the ghetto. But this place just sold for $200,000 per unit.
Yeah.
It's 5 minutes from the airport, 5 minutes from the Strip, 5 minutes from the freeway.
Yeah.
I couldn't ask for anything more, to be honest.
Back in the day, this was like the city. Like there was
nothing. This was the city, right?
There was like nothing really else. So I mean, it was just normal places, I guess. Like
I did a mafia tour for work. I had to shoot some video, and they were showing like the mafia, but in the streets, it was literally a block away. It was a street away.
You did what?
It was like a mafia tour, talking about the mafia and building Las Vegas. And it was literally driving down Maryland. It was street away. It was a restaurant on street away. It's like right in the mix. Like this is like this is like the home ground of Vegas. Yeah. Yeah. It was really fascinating. I'm like, you're just driving around my house right now. Yeah. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah. That was where everybody was back in the day. Like in all the movie, like Casino and stuff, all those neighborhoods were like, all those houses were filmed in those neighborhoods over there.
That's super interesting.
How do you... It's cool that it's coming back. I mean, but Vegas in general, like, I mean, there was a time like when those neighborhoods did start to get a little like dumpy, you know, but like, and it still kind of is, but everything they're cleaning up, like even the drive down here, like passing through UNLV. UNLV used to be like kind of a dump too.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah. I mean, the college itself, no, but like everything around it. But just with all I think people are just investing so much money into this town that like all the buildings look nice. Like they're just redoing it, making it look like that trendy, like gray with white or whatever. Like, I don't know, everything they're just revamping the center of the city. So
answer me this: why people born in Las Vegas don't go to Red Rock or Valley of Fire or Zion, and they've never been? What? Yeah. That blows my mind. First thing I did when I moved here was I went everywhere, and I still go everywhere. Yeah, I've got so many friends who are born and bred here. I haven't been to Red Rock.
Yeah, that's weird.
That blows my mind, right? Is that weird?
I guess so, but I do have to say, growing up here, I didn't go to Red Rock until I was in maybe high school or college.
What do you do?
Well, but keep in mind too, like I was under the mercy of my parents.
Yeah.
So like I don't think parents back in the day remember, I mean, even though this was like 30 plus years ago, like the way people's lifestyles has changed. Like now driving like, you know, whatever, 45 minutes outside of town is like leisurely. But I think back in the day, like your parents' lifestyles were different.
See, for me, it was different.
You let the kids go in the backyard and they play all day.
We were different. I grew up on the beach. Yeah. And every weekend we would drive an hour, 2 hours to go have barbecues in all these different places.
Yeah.
So I was different.
Right.
So maybe it's America Australia thing.
It could maybe in a sense. It could
I find
also
it
be
fascinating. Like Valley Fire is absolutely beautiful.
Thing.
And it's 1 hour away. Yeah. Like Valley Fire is 1 hour away. And I know so many people have never been there.
Yeah.
That place is incredible.
Yeah. I've only been there once.
I've been there like 10 times, and I've flown a helicopter into there. Like, yeah. So yeah, there you go. You just proved it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've been to Mount Charleston, but also same thing. Mount Charleston, I didn't go. I remember the first time I went to Mount Charleston. It was on like I was in high school, it was senior ditch day. But I guess people who are from Vegas, like I can't speak for other parents, but my parents didn't. My mom doesn't drive. My dad doesn't do anything. So I mean, you would have to go when your friends invited you or like had that opportunity.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So
how do you go about starting a food tour? Because there is so many moving parts, and I feel like that's got to be crazy overwhelming.
It's difficult. Yeah.
Where do you start? How do you go about it?
To like creating?
Yeah, I mean, where do you decide to do it? Who do you decide to talk to? How do you talk to those people?
Well, I mean, the process now is a little bit different. But I mean, I think when I first started, it was just, it really didn't have, I wasn't set out to be like, I'm going to start a business and it's going to become a thing. Like it was just like, I'm going to show people where to eat.
When you say show, was it friends or are you talking about like strangers?
I had the idea of being like, I would like to tell people where to go.
Okay.
Like before I even really knew what it was, I wanted to be more of like a concierge service where I would like help them plan out their vacations.
Gotcha.
And then when I was setting everything up, it ended up being like everything on my mind was like, oh, people are going to want to know where to eat. So I'm going to tell them to go here. And then I'm going to tell them to go here. And then I'm going to say, it just became a food tour because of because in my head, all I could think about was people are going to want to know the good places to eat. Like, because I'm so obsessed with food. So
that's interesting.
That's how it became one. And then, I mean, I don't really know. I just, in my head as well, I was like, well, I don't know how to get business. So, and I don't come from a family of entrepreneurs. My friends aren't entrepreneurs, at least back in the day. So everything was just kind of like, what do I do? And I just was like, okay, so I guess you build a website. Okay, let's build a website, and like people will come, but they don't come. So, and then it's like, oh, you got to do Google ads. So I was like, okay, let's do Google ads. People will come. And then you're like, they don't come. Like everything was like such a...
You went in completely blind.
Yeah.
But you took action. And
I
did.
And
that's the biggest thing I admire about you is you don't just, you figure things out.
Yeah.
If you get stuck or you'll take action and you'll kind of fail forward.
Yeah.
And you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, so many people don't do that.
Yeah.
99% of people want to take the action.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
No, I truly mean that. Like it's hard.
Yeah.
And my parents weren't entrepreneurs. My friends weren't entrepreneurs. It's like there's no blueprint. There's not an ask.
No, there's not.
You're figuring this stuff out by yourself. You're failing forwards, as I like to say.
And I still do it. Like even today.
But you're okay failing, right?
I don't even consider it failing. I guess all I do is I'm like, well, let me try this. And maybe it doesn't work, I guess, but I don't use the word fit. I don't know. Maybe I don't look at it as failing.
I totally agree. Yeah. It's like, Edison's like, they say it took him like 1,000 different attempts to create the light bulb. Mm-hmm. He's like, I didn't fail 999 times. I just learned how not to do it.
Yeah.
Or what doesn't work.
Right, exactly.
And that's exactly what you're getting at.
Yeah, like, and I'll take a chance and I'll be like, well, this looks interesting, or let me try this, and I'll try it and I'll be like, well, I didn't like it, or, well... it didn't work out the way I wanted it to, or on the way there, I was like, well, I have a better idea now, so let me go this way. Like, it's always moving.
Pivoting, right?
Yeah.
Constantly pivoting.
Exactly.
How do you go about, like, say you want a restaurant, how did you go about, like, if you don't have a business yet or you're just starting, how do you get the credibility or the confidence to reach out to someone's like, hey, by the way, I'm going to try to bring people to you? Is that just a matter of asking, or is that just a matter of
I guess everybody has their own approach, and I would say you probably want to try different avenues. But I mean, like when I first started, I didn't necessarily go to the restaurants and ask permission. I was like, I like these restaurants.
Oh, you just did it.
People should know about it. So let me take them here.
I like that even better.
And I just took them there and I set them, and then the people would see me do it because now I'm a repeat guest. Well, I've always have been. That's why I know that the places are good. And like, then they start treating my guests like,
so you're providing
family
or
welcoming. Yeah. And it was like, and that's kind of my thing. I'm really big on customer service and like just feeling welcome and welcomed and a warm greeting when you enter a place. And I feel like really I guess the secret behind the food tours is just being it's customer service, like, and the experience.
I love it. You didn't ask for permission. You just asked.
I just went.
You just took action. That's so, and that goes back to what I was saying, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't get anybody to write back. I can't start my bit. Or you just like, screw it. I'm just gonna.
Well, I mean, out. Because right.
I'm just gonna bring in customers.
Right. Like I'm just, but I memean, I would say that there's benefits and downfalls to it, and without getting into it, I always found that going into a business and saying, I don't know, like I said, I'm not a business person, so I'm not really into that. I mean, now I could say I am, but going starting off, like going up to places, it was a constant, like, no, because people don't like it when you make money off of them for some reason. So even now I have difficulty doing it when I go up to people and I'm telling them like, oh, I'm going to bring you people and, we're going to promote your restaurant. We're going to do this and all of this stuff. And people are like, I don't know what they do, but maybe they see, maybe
it's a win-win though, isn't it?
It's definitely a win-win.
Yeah.
I mean, like we're creating an experience for our guests, and we're promoting, and we're spending money, and we're supporting local.
You're taking pictures, you're posting, you're tagging, you're shouting them out.
People like who would never go to these places, and we're taking them to your restaurant or your establishment, and we're telling them it's great. Go here.
It seems like a no-brainer.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like perhaps some people get it, but some people don't, and maybe you just have to explain it a little bit more. And if not, then you just maybe go somewhere else.
And it's not always the right fit, right? It could be an amazing restaurant, but it may not be the right fit with the owner.
Like, I mean, it could be that too. And I mean, you know, if it has to, I mean, you know, we're not here just to like, by no means did I start this to take advantage of restaurants or customers or anything. Like, I did this because I really was like, yeah, like I get to show people like what real Las Vegas looks like, and isn't that amazing? Like,
and restaurants that you really like, because that's why you're taking them
exactly.
You're not just taking them to any restaurant. You're like, these are the ones I really like.
These are the ones I like, and these are the ones I feel like you should know about. I mean, out of how many restaurants there are here in Las Vegas, I mean, I think that you should be pretty flattered.
And I feel like everybody needs some type of edge, because there is so many restaurants. There's so many restaurants in town. It's crazy. So many good restaurants too. There's so many.
There's a ton of good restaurants.
Have you built good rapport with like the restaurants that you go to on a consistent basis over the years? Like good friendships?
I feel like we do, yeah.
Can you kind of like reach out to them, bounce ideas off each other, or ask like if you need help?
The restaurants itself, I mean, every place is different. I mean, like we visit everything from like, you know, somebody like super mom and pop to like a little boutique store to like some upscale restaurants on the Strip. So it's a little bit of everything, and every restaurant has their own personality. And every restaurant, all the employees in all the restaurants have their own personalities, and all the tour guides, and, you know, everybody has different personalities. But I feel like when the tour guides, we visit all of the places every day, and we have the nicest tour guides. Like, they're so sweet, and they are. And they love what they're doing, and they love the people, and they love, you know, the food and everything about it too. So I think it's nice just because you see each other every day, you get to know each other. It's like working with, I mean, you know, when you work somewhere and you see them every day, you just build friendships regardless. Absolutely. And we always, we do team eatings like once a month. And so it's not a team meeting, it's a team eating. Oh, and we visit one of the restaurants on our stops, and we just support them.
How many guides you got now?
We have 4.5.
4.5.
Plus me. Well, like, so
I know you had trouble finding guides right there for a while. What was that process? What was that transition from you like being able to step back and like work on your business opposed to win it? Is that tricky to do? You're very controlling too. You're very like.
Oh, you think so?
Very particular.
Well,
but I don't think that's a bad thing. You got high standards that you know you live up to. So the next person in line has got to live up to those. You can admit it though, right?
Well, I would.
And I don't think that's a bad thing.
In the sense, I do have high standards in the sense that customer service must be excellent.
Because it represents you and your business. And one person says something stupid, I go through the same struggle. They got to be you. They got to have integrity, punctuality. They got to treat people the way you would treat them.
Well, exactly. I mean, it's just hard. I'm sure it's like this for everybody trying to find employees or people to work for.
Too.
Just like good people to work for. I mean, like, I'm not sure, but I'm not sure other places. I mean, I talk to other business owners that are looking for employees. Like, it's hard, you know, like just somebody that, you know, obviously nobody's going to care about your business as much as you do, but I mean, you just want somebody that's responsible. Maybe, you know, like follows. I mean, there's certain, every tour guide has their own personality, which is great because that's what makes them unique, and that's why the guests love them. You know, like on everybody leaves reviews, and it's like April was this, Jim was this, you know, like Aisha was that. Like, I mean, they leave amazing reviews for the tour guides, but it's because each one of their personalities are so unique and different, and amazing. Like, they love to hang out with them. But I think that would be it. They're people person or people.
I've got a question for you. So I had Ed from Dig This. He runs Dig This, where you drive bulldozers, excavators, things like that. He said it takes him 100 interviews to get one person, and he judges it on personality, and that's it. He goes, the skills can be taught. What's your process?
I agree.
I figured you'd be on the same page.
I agree, but there's certain other things that you probably look for, like punctuality and stuff. I mean, that you look for, that I screened through. I mean, I don't have to interview that many people because I think I just screened through a lot of them in the first place. Like,
how do you screen through them?
I ask basic questions, and sometimes they can't even answer. Like they leave the question blank. Well, if you leave the question blank, you obviously don't care that much.
Yeah.
So, bye.
No, it's interesting.
I mean, like, it's so weird. It's like, and I'll look at it, I'm like, wow, your resume is amazing, but you are too good to answer a little questionnaire. Like, I can't, like, I mean, what does that mean? I'm going to be, and if they do turn out great, that's great, but I would never know. So, I mean, I don't even have to worry about it.
And the thing is too, if you're doing food tour each and every day, it's a different person. You gotta have the same energy. You gotta have the same everything every single day, right? You can't be like, oh, I said this yesterday, I'm not going to put as much effort in. You need to be on your A game each and every day. Oh, because it's a whole set of different people from a whole different area.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. And I feel like our tour guide, like currently all of our tour guides are amazing. But it is one of those things where it's like, these people are coming to town. You're here to show them a good time. Whatever happens in your personal life, like you cannot take to work. Like, like, unfortunately, this isn't the place for you to be able to take it to work. Like maybe there are other positions where it's possible to do that, but if people can feel energy. So if you're not excited to show people the city, like, just don't come to work. Like we need people that can, like, are really excited and energetic and bubbly to show off the city and passionate for what they do on a day-to-day basis, like no exceptions.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You have 3 tours now? Oh, you got more?
We have 4.
You got 4.
Yeah,
what did you start with? Downtown or the Strip?
The Strip, but I'm the Strip, and I think I started 2 at the same time.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Which was already.
What made you want to do that?
I don't know.
That seems unnecessarily stressful.
Yeah, it was because I mean, I was also working a full-time job at the time.
Yeah,
but
your industry, weren't you?
Yeah.
Let me ask. A lot of, especially attractive females, males, get caught up in that industry job, making really good money. Is it hard to step out of that and try to create something from scratch? You know what I mean? It's a lot of like easy 100K over that. You're just serving drinks. You're looking pretty.
Maybe, I mean, yes and no. I mean, I felt like,
because I've met a lot of people who make really good money and they get to a point where they're 30, they're like, I'm going to have to do something else soon. Yeah. And that's got to be tricky.
I guess I think I enjoy working in the service industry, but I think I was never completely happy with it. Or
fulfilled, would you say?
Yeah, like working. I mean, I love everything about it and going out, but I think there was a period of time when it was really good for me. Like I got to experience like going out with coworkers and staying out late, and that's how I got to know the industry and the restaurant world and meet a lot of people. Yeah. And if it weren't for that, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at today.
Okay.
But there was a time when it was like, well, I went up, in position. Well, at least you think I went up, like serving them, bartending. And, I did like craft cocktails, which was great for me because I loved learning how to do the cocktails. And then speed was another one. And, just creating all of that stuff. But then like once you did it, it was like, well, now I don't want to become a manager. So now where do I go, like without bouncing from bartending job to bartending job.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with it. Like I still love bartending. It just wasn't for me. I had fulfilled that goal.
I get that.
And then I got bored. Yeah. And then once I got bored, I was like, now what do I do? Gotcha. And I took a pay cut for sure. I mean, when I decided to quit and do this full time, I wasn't busy. Like it was like, a few tours here and there, but that was the only way I could actually invest the time to be able to grow
to make it work,
to see what would happen.
Kind
and
of jump in with 2 feet, right?
Yeah, I didn't know where it was going. I mean, like I had, I was like, this is what I want to do, but where's it going to go? And it's diverted a few times. And I guess I still prefer doing this, than doing that.
No, I get it.
It's not forever, but I do agree. I mean, it's tough. Like and there are days where I'm just like, what? Why?
Yeah, why? This is stressful. I could have clocked in, clocked out, had my paycheck.
Right. And it's funny because when you are working like a 9-to-5 job or whatever, like restaurants is not 9 to 5, but like an hourly job, where you clock in and clock out, you always think, yeah, I'm going to start my own business and I'm not going to work for somebody. But when you do, you're now working for everybody. Like, I mean,
24/7,
yeah, like
for less money and
so,
10 times more stress.
Well, I mean, at least at first, and you're just, and a ton of stress. And sometimes you're just like, I don't regret it at all. But what I do, I have a greater appreciation of just being an employee. Where, where I was like, well, if I had a mindset like this back then, I would gladly clock in, do my job with a smile, and then clock out and be like, what are we doing tonight? Which
Perspective.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I do envy them in a way that it's like, like you make good money and you clock out at the end of the day. Like, you might think about like a customer that was a jerk or what, what I mean? Some situation that happened at work, but like it's, you'll forget about it, the next day. You'll sleep, you'll forget about it the next day. But when you have problems with like, when you're running your own business, you actually have to fix things.
Yeah, you actually have to call them up and, and apologize and fix things.
So,
but sorry, here you go.
I was just saying, like I said, I don't regret it though. Like I love everything that I'm doing. And I think the real reason is because I really enjoy being creative. And even though I'm not, I like I said, I wasn't a business person. Like I never studied business or anything like that. I'm creative in the sense that I get to figure out how to make it work, which I enjoy.
Let's touch on that. I think a lot of people, perfection, paralysis, procrastinate, don't have a business degree. How much do you learn by starting opposed to like planning and procrastinating? Meaning like
everything.
You kind of got to start, right?
You have to start.
Whatever it is. I mean, you don't have to go in blind and dump all your savings, but you got to take some type of action and continue to take that action.
Yeah.
And you learn so much by doing than you ever will like sitting back and screening.
Yeah. Well, I feel like people are a little paralyzed because they don't really know what they want to do. Right?
That's interesting. But you also don't know what you want to do unless you kind of take some action.
But you need to do, so that's the thing. You don't necessarily have to say, maybe I want to start a food tour business. I'm just using food tour because that's what I'm doing. But you don't have to say, that's what I think I want to do. Just do something. And if it goes in that direction, then you can possibly make a business out of it. But it doesn't have to be like, I need to start a business and it's going to be this. I mean, you can. I mean, Like
you definitely can.
But it doesn't have to be that. I mean,
my content stuff, I started with drones, into videography, into racing drones, into photography, into a podcast.
Right.
Like, I never saw me getting it. And who knows where I'm going to be next year.
I mean, aren't you still doing all of it?
Yeah, I still do all of it. But I mean, it's literally it's just pivot and it's transition. And it's, I never had any idea it was going that way.
Yeah. But I think that's that's the joy of life, I guess, is just doing things that you enjoy, whether it is a business or not. Like, and if you can make money out of it, that's great. And it looks like for you, it's working.
I think it's like, I'm huge on find what you love to do and figure out a way to get paid for it. I feel like that is the key to life.
Yeah.
Because if you love what you do, you're not really ever working. And if you're getting paid for it, you're like, oh my God, I'm getting paid to do what I love.
Yeah.
What else can you ask for?
I think, that's good. I do think that not everything you love should be a job.
No. Yeah, no, that's what I mean. But if it's a career and you hate what you do, find out. You ever heard that saying, like, if you wake up $100 million in the bank tomorrow, what would you do? And everyone's like, I buy a house, buy a parents' house, I travel. After all that's done, what would you do?
Yeah.
And I can honestly say I would have a podcast. I would still do photography. I would still do videography.
Yeah.
And I would probably just travel more and do it at the same time.
Right.
So it kind of gives you an idea that you are actually doing what you're meant to be doing.
Yeah.
You're not just doing it for the money. You're not just doing it for another reason.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard that or thought about that?
People have asked me, like, what would you do with if you won the lottery or whatever? I mean, you know, just for fun. And I was like, I don't know. Like,
but you're a foodie, right? I would do the
same thing I'm doing right now.
Go to the gym, eat well, travel, everything you're already doing.
I mean, I'm not miserable in my life to be like, I'm going to get rid of everything I'm doing and do a 180. You know, like, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. It might be nice to have some money in my pocket, like extra money. I mean, whatever, extra money.
You might be able to do it on a bigger scale or something.
Maybe, but I mean, like, I like watching the business grow. Like, oh, I did it. Like, I don't know what else I would do differently, you know? Like, I mean, I'm sure money could do stuff, but that's me that, like, oh, how do I figure it out myself? I don't know.
Do you feel like
a downfall?
you're very fitness orientated. You diet. You've done competitions. Do you think that mindset and the ability that instant gratification doesn't happen with fitness translates to business? Do you feel like they intertwine pretty well?
Yeah, they're probably related. Sure, because but it's like that. It's probably like that with everything. Yeah,
I mean, probably.
Yeah, a little bit more realistic. I mean, I've been into fitness since I was a kid. Like, I've always been athletic. I have two brothers. We used to play catch in the street, you know, like and I started in the gym when I was 18, and back when I was 18, I was the only girl in the gym. And everybody else was like an older male. Like, you know, and it was weird, but I went because I was like, this is kind of nice, like, whatever. Yeah. Like, but so I never looked at it as I'm going to the gym to get like this super fit hot model body. Like, I just went. It was obviously like I liked working out or the idea of it, but it wasn't like I need to look like whatever model. Like, I can't even.
That's how much it matters to you.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, it's like, I think it's like learning to embrace the journey. I think too many people want the reward. They want to have the successful business. They want to be in great shape. But I think you and I like definitely appreciate the ups and downs and the journey and the struggle, because when you get there, you appreciate it a lot more because you work for it. Yeah. If I could suddenly give you the perfect business tomorrow, you'd be like, no, I don't want that, because I want to do it myself. I embrace the journey. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what I'm getting at? Or
it's nice to grow.
Or you can have a six-pack tomorrow. You're like, no, I'd rather spend the 4 months of dieting to do it myself.
Well, I mean,
because I'm going to but you appreciate it more.
Yeah. Which I do have to say. I mean, I don't think it's difficult for a female to have a six-pack.
Oh, yes.
I mean,
you got to work hard.
And it's not realistic.
No.
I mean, like, those girls that have them, they're really, really lean to the point where, I mean, I don't think it's at a healthy level.
They're a professional athlete, or they're peaking for a competition.
Yeah.
It's not sustainable.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard sustainable for a guy, especially once you get 30s, 40s.
You said it's
not really, it's not really sustainable as you get older.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, the pictures that we all see, those are people when they're dieting down and they're water depleted and they're ready for a show.
And I've come along
with the perfect lighting, and then your abs can show. But like, you can be super lean, and I mean, it still doesn't show. I mean, not for everybody.
Have you seen those TikToks?
No.
It's like someone shredded in bad lighting and not pumped up, and then perfect lighting, pumped up after the gym.
Yeah.
And it's like night and day. It's the exact same person, the exact same day.
Yeah.
But just shows the power of having a pump and the right lighting and things.
Yeah. I feel like those, I mean, it's nice that they're starting to come out, I guess, and have those pictures so that maybe people can. Oh, yeah,
it's great because, it makes people realize that not everyone's like perfect all the time.
Well, yeah, I mean, nobody looks like that all the time.
Yeah.
That's unrealistic. like,
yeah.
So, but the sad part is that a lot of the younger generations that are getting into fitness, they see the photos, which is what motivates them, but then they don't understand why they don't look like that.
Social makes it hard, right? Because you see everybody's best version of themselves. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nobody's going to post a picture of them.
Yeah, beer belly in the morning, or like
right?
the cheat day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your food tours. So you got the 4 of them. What are they?
So we have our Downtown Delights foodie tour. We have our Arts District foodie tour. We have our foodie tour on the Las Vegas Strip, and our Secret Spots to Celebrity foodie tour on the Las Vegas Strip.
What is that one?
So that one goes from the Cosmo and the Bellagio primarily, and it's like we do a lot of like secrets and like hole in the wall spots, and then we visit upscale. So the ones on the Strip we tend to focus still on like different places, like smaller. They're great if for like a overall unique activity, a little bit of variety, like hole in the wall street food, upscale dining, all in one. So you can, in 3 hours, it's like, wow, we tried this secret spot and a celebrity chef. We got to meet somebody, so they're fun activities on the Strip, but we still focus on local places or local favorite places that, the locals would know about. And downtown is great because it's, we start off on the touristy area, but then you end up off the beaten path. So you get to see all of Fremont Street, like a combo of both. It's a great overall tour.
It's good for tourists who don't know much about like original Vegas and downtown, right?
Yeah, we do history. We do a lot of history and sightseeing and culture on all of our tours too. So it's not just like about food. I mean, it's about food, but whether you're a foodie or not a foodie, I think you can really appreciate the tour.
Have you got a favorite tour?
I like all of them, right? And biased.
Yeah, obviously.
But I would say,
I mean, you've been a local girl.
I really like the Arts District foodie tour because I
kind of thought you leaned that way.
Which is our newest tour, so that could be one of the reasons. But it's also, like that's where I go. Now I go there all the time. So the ones on the Strip I used to really, really love because before COVID I used to hang out on the Strip all the time, but it. The Las Vegas Strip has changed a lot since we reopened. And I still enjoy going there. And, you have to be good at what you do, to be in the know of everything. But I love the Arts District. It's nice because it's like that local, it's kind of like what our company embodies, like we're local and small. We're showing you like real local Las Vegas.
Gotcha. When you were doing your research, especially when you started, were you just going by yourself? Were you going with friends to try these places?
I can't remember.
But now, like you have your foodie meetup with your staff, but do you go to restaurants?
I'll go to them all the time myself anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. And I eat and I go by myself or I'll go with friends or whatever. Whatever. I don't mind eating alone, so I go.
You go to your way to just try different things as much as you can.
I do. I do also. I like to go out to eat, but I also enjoy eating at home. So I would say I don't eat out as much as some people. There's a ton of restaurants that are on my list that I need. That I would like to go to and will go to eventually. But
so you kind of crossing things off.
Yeah, but when I'm not at a brand new restaurant 3 times a day because that's at the rate that we're opening up restaurants. Like the only way you're going to get to all of them is if, and I do, I am also into fitness, I guess, or health. And so I like to eat my own food and then I go out to eat when I want to enjoy a meal,
stay healthy and not just splurge.
But I also find that, and this is just me, obviously, because I'm speaking, but like if you go out to eat like every day, it's no longer enjoyable. Like because
it's like eating pizza every day, right?
Yeah,
you don't appreciate when you do have
like
it.
you're just eating out every day. Like the excitement of like being in a restaurant and being with friends or being with other people or trying something different, it goes away. So I like to balance that with like, at home I get to eat my food, which I enjoy eating. Like I eat my food and it's quiet, it's calm, like and then when it's like, oh, today I feel like trying this and it's really exciting for me. It's like, oh, I got to try this. And, I think about it and everything. But I just feel like if you go out to eat all the time, it's
No, I agree. I have sushi once a week, and I love my sushi once a week. But
you look forward to it.
Yeah, if I had it every day, I'm probably like wouldn't like sushi anymore, and I don't want that.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's tons of people that disagree. You know, like they go out and do it and everything. Yeah. But I mean, that's me. Like I just
have to win the lotto to do that too.
Yeah, right. I guess it's true, but I don't think so. I don't think.
No, I'm on the same page.
No, I go out to eat as much as I enjoy right now. Currently, so
I like it. Well, some of the struggles, the biggest learning lessons you've had, like along the way, like mistakes you've made, things you've learned from, things you've struggled with the business. Like, where do I start?
I know. Well, I mean, you know, I've asked a lot of people for help. Maybe I asked the wrong people, or I'm not sure, but I mean, I think sometimes when you ask people their ideas and they have their own mindset of what business is like, sometimes you get bad advice.
What do you mean by that exactly?
I don't know.
You don't have to like talking about specifically anything. Is it just people having a different business and not being able to understand like your industry?
Kind of. Well, I mean, in that sense, I would say a lot of people like to give advice. It's not even asked for.
Everybody wants to give advice.
Yeah, and so
everybody likes to talk.
Yeah, and that is, I mean, well, I'm so used to it now that I'm just kind of like, okay.
Just let me do my thing. Yeah. Yeah, everyone likes to put their 2 cents in.
Yeah. So, and then, I mean, and that was part of it. I mean, you just kind of understand that they're by no means they're not trying to be, mean or tell you what to do. They're just trying to be helpful, but they don't understand what it's really like to be in the.
Did you have supportive friends and stuff around you, like in your business and now?
I would say
or the right environment,
but I feel. I mean, I definitely felt like I had friends that I didn't. I mean, I don't want to say that they weren't supportive, but I feel like when you're really excited about something and like to you it's important, so you're like, oh, I'm starting this business, but then like when you see them, they don't ask you about it, or even like. They don't say anything positive. They're just kind of like, oh, okay. And they don't care to, when they don't ask you questions, I guess, about it, then you're like.
Why do you think that is? Do you think it's like making someone feel uncomfortable?
I'm not sure.
Like
I'm really
insecure?
not sure. Like I did have I remember I had a good friend when I was first starting, and when I was telling her about it, and never once said anything about it or good luck or congratulations or like that's cool. No positive reinforcement at all, and didn't ask me any questions. And it was like you feel a little isolated, I guess, at first, because you're like, oh, I don't know, like, does anybody support me in this journey?
It's
like,
tricky, right?
Yeah.
The same things in the fitness industry. When I first I started on modeling, had photos going everywhere, photo shoots. Not a single friend said anything. I won a competition against 80 guys. I was on the front page of the newspaper. Nobody said anything.
Yeah,
and what I learned to realize back then is like you just got to do you for you, and you can't wait for someone else to pat you on the back or give you praise or validate. You just gotta, if that's what you want to do, that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
And then I think through time you find the right people who kind of align and create like a new environment. Would you say? Like, I'm sure your environment now is a lot better than it used to be.
Yeah, it's completely different.
Same as me. I make it a priority that my friends are the right friends.
Right.
I won't have a friend for sake of having a friend unless they're the right fit. And you're probably on the same page now, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
And it's like you got support.
Circles are smaller. But I also think it's part of the growing process. And I don't know, maybe having the business is part of learning and like feeling more secure about yourself. Because when I did start, I do remember her in particular, but other people as well. Like I just felt very isolated. Like it was like, oh, I'm doing this. And they didn't understand. And, you know, you have to people would be like, let's go out and tonight and party. I'm like, I can't. Like, I have to, you know, I have a different schedule now. Like, I'm doing that. And they don't understand. Like, they're like, oh, you never come out with us. Like,
yeah. I mean, you start to try. It's not a person. You start to take different directions.
Yeah.
And you got to start to set like different boundaries with different people. And it doesn't mean they're not your friend, but they may not be a friend you spend 40 hours a week with now.
Right.
It may be
but
1 or 2 hours.
sometimes you lose friends because, like, let's say, like, they were. I mean, you could still be like amicable with each other, but you were really good friends at the time, and just because at that time you had the same schedule and you had the same friends and you were doing the same social activities, but then when you do something else, you kind of pull yourself out of that environment. So maybe they're still doing that, but then, you know, you have to figure out what goes into your environment. I guess. So you figure it out, but you are very isolated at first. But I was saying, I think it's part of the growing process as a human in general, because like I did need support. I mean, I think we all need support at all times of our life, but like, I think I really needed it back then. Whereas now it's like, I don't necessarily need it. It's nice to have, but like, I'm going to do it
regardless.
And if you don't say cool or, you know, like good job for you, like I don't care.
It's still gonna do it anyway. No, I 100% agree.
Yeah, like I'm doing it all because I like to do it. So whether and if you say something bad about it, that's cool too. Like I don't care. Like
that's why I started the men's group I have, was that I just felt isolated. I'm like, I eat well, I go to the gym, I do Muay Thai, I have a business, I read constantly, but I'm like, I don't want to go out partying and drinking. I don't smoke. So I just felt isolated. Like, am I the only person who's like this?
Yeah.
And that's why I started this group. And this group has now over 100 men who are just like me.
Really?
That's awesome. 106 guys in 3 months.
That's cool.
We've got our second event coming up.
And it's only men? I think I saw a post with one female.
Oh, it was a meditation instructor from my event. But yeah, it's just all guys. And it's like, by me like feeling isolated, like you said, and kind of I created something and I brought a community together. And we don't talk about weather. We don't talk about we don't talk about girls. We don't talk about stupid stuff. We talk about ideas and books and business, and it's the right environment. I feel comfortable to call anyone at any time to ask any questions. So it's great. Yeah. So environment is huge.
Yeah. Yeah. And I realize that too, like especially now, I mean, a lot of growing, especially since I, you know, did the business and stuff, and I went to therapy, and so that definitely. Did I tell you before? No, I went to therapy.
What were you going to therapy for?
It was mostly so you know, like I got out of that like really bad relationship. I mean, you knew about that, so like, and I just was like, at the end of it, and that went on way too long, and at the end of it, I was like, why, like. Even though in the back of my head, like I knew it was awful, like I couldn't get out of it for some reason. And then when it was finally said and done, I was like, why would I do that to myself? So then I was like, I'll just go see a therapist and see what happens. So and then, you know, like. And
nobody told you to do that? It's just something you thought you should do?
Yeah, that's interesting. I wanted to go myself because I was like, why would I put myself through that? I mean, because obviously it was it was my fault. I kept putting myself in the same situation, and I was like, why would I do that? Like, I don't understand. Like, what like, tell me about my hidden past. I need to find out. And so that helped me a lot.
What's it done for you? Just like having a better understanding about yourself, or?
Understanding about myself. I know how to put boundaries with people.
Boundaries.
But I think that was the big thing. And I think that's why I brought up therapy in the first place, was because I don't want any negative people in my life anymore. Like, I mean, I know there are negative people and you have to deal with them with work and society if you're going to go out into the real world. But like, as a friend, like, it's much easier for me to be like, you're not the person I want in my life. So not
adding value to your life.
So I'm gonna remove myself.
One of my favorite quotes: those who do not increase you will eventually decrease you. Someone's not adding value to your life or taking it away. Yeah. And that's going back to
that. Yeah. But that was part of my growing process. And I just feel like since I started the business, I've grown so much, but therapy's been part of it.
Gotcha.
So,
that's interesting.
But yeah, like learning to step away from negative people and toxic people and just really only being around people that support you. And
which is huge.
It's huge. Everything. Yeah, and it might not be a lot of people, but that's cool. Like, I'm happy with that. Like,
but wouldn't you rather have 2 real friends,
yeah,
opposed to like 20 associates or so-called friends?
Yeah.
And that's what I found. I'd rather have no friends than have like the wrong friends.
Exactly.
But by doing so, I isolated myself. I'm like, oh, geez, this sucks too.
But that's when you need to go. I mean, that's why you started the men's group.
Yeah,
because
that's
you need
literally
to
why I
find,
started it.
People with like minds. And I mean, I'm fortunate. Like, I have really great people in my life right now.
Yeah.
And so I keep them, close. And honestly, I have to say, like, I don't really have much negativity in my life anymore.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
And Mum's same. That's why my life is stressful and easy, and I don't get sick, and I can take care of my health. And it's
talk
nice.
about how, like, you haven't been sick in...
I've been sick for like over 6 years. I've been in cold therapy for 6 years.
You what?
Been doing like cold showers for 6 years. Right. I've been doing ice baths for 3 months now.
So, which is funny because I think the last time we talked, we were talking about like ice baths and stuff, and I was telling you that I'll take cold showers, or I'll at least finish it off with cold water or whatever. So, but this was still in our winter. Our winter was very long this year, like it was snowing in March, and so I was like, I think one day I woke up like just out of sorts, and I was like looking at the pool, and I was like, the pool looks really good right now. I don't know why, but I was drawn to it, and I was like, it was one of the days where it was like really cold, and I went in and the pool was freezing. Yeah. And now it's warming up, so it's not as cold, but it's still cold. But I've been doing cold plunges in the pool.
Oh, have you? How long are you in there for?
Well, at first it was like in, and my feet felt like they were going to fall off. So I was like 10 seconds out. Yeah. And then maybe the next time it was like 10 seconds and then, or whatever, 15 seconds and then out. And then the next time it was like, let me do 15 seconds twice.
Oh, gotcha.
And then I built it up. And then one day I was in there and I was like, okay, in, out. And then the third time I was like, I'll just do another 15 seconds. And I was like, this isn't so bad. And I was in there for like 10 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like...
That's cool.
Yeah.
I got a friend who owns IMR Float, and he has a cold plunge at his business. But he actually uses his pool in his complex to do his cold plunges. So pools are perfect.
Yeah.
Until it gets too hot. Yeah, it's freezing. Yeah. Until it gets... I mean, my cold plunge was just like the temperature the water is at until recently, because it got hotter now.
Yeah.
But what have you noticed from doing it? Like, why are you doing it? What's kind of got you continually doing it?
I like it because, so I actually started, I went to Greece for a month last year in August. And although it's warm, the water is cold, like in the shower. Like I stayed a lot in Airbnbs, and either it would take too long for the water to turn warm.
Oh, really?
And I would just be like, whatever, I'll just do a cold, or there wasn't warm water at all, so I would just do cold water, and then jumping in the ocean all the time, cold, not freezing, but cold. So when I came back to Vegas, I was kind of obsessed with the cold water. Like, it makes you feel good.
It's a weird, it's like a weird addiction, right?
Yeah.
I keep telling people this. I'm like, I'm addicted to the cold.
You get addicted. I mean,
it's really weird, right?
Being cold, but when I shower now, if it's like, I'm kind of like, I need that cold before I get out. Yeah. Like you crave it.
It's like, what are you getting out of it? Is it like energy? Is it clarity? Is it like, is it recovery from training? Like,
I don't know so much about the recovery from training. I mean, I hear all those great benefits from it. For me, I like the energy, and I think it just makes you positive. Like, I mean, maybe that's part of the energy. Yeah.
It's like 2.5 times dopamine hit from the cold.
I think I remember it was like you said it, or I mean, I listen to other podcasts and they talk about it too. So yeah, definitely like the dopamine, and I just, you feel great afterwards.
Every day I don't want to do it, but there hasn't been a day where I haven't done it and I've regretted it.
Yeah.
And you're probably on the same page.
I don't do it every day.
But I mean, when you do it, like you mentally fight it, but when you get out, you're not like, oh, damn, it's kind of like the gym.
Yeah.
You never walk away from the gym going, oh, damn, I wish I didn't go today. I feel crap.
Yeah.
You always feel good from the cold. You always feel good from the exercise.
Yeah.
but it's always hard to do either one of them.
I don't know. Like, I actually really look for, I'm like, I need the cold water.
I've got one out here. It's 40 degrees right now.
I get really excited about it. Like literally crave the cold water.
I can 100% relate. It's cool to hear that.
Yeah, and
it's super weird, and nobody gets it.
No.
But besides the people who do it.
Yeah, I tell my friends, and I'm like, I kind of like the cold water, and they're like, you're crazy, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know how to explain it except you just need to do it. But nobody wants to do it.
Public speaking, cold is up here.
Yeah.
They're literally like the biggest scare of people.
Yeah.
And maybe heights is a little bit lower, but it's right up there. People like, I know some bodybuilders. I know some very fit people. My Muay Thai instructor could kick the crap out of anyone. He's scared of the cold. Everybody's so scared of the cold.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So and I think that's what makes it so important. It's like to do something so uncomfortable. It's like being comfortable, being uncomfortable is how I like to put it.
Yeah.
If you can do something so uncomfortable first thing in the morning when no one's holding a gun to your head, it kind of sets you up to succeed for the day. So I'm on the same page.
I'm thinking now about it. I'm like, I'm going to go get a cold shower when I come home. It feels good.
I love it. Just to tie up, what's the future for Taste Buds? Where do you want to go? You like where you're at? You want to get bigger? You want to expand? You want to go to different
I like where
states?
we're at. I really like where we're at. What I'm doing right now is just kind of organizing the back end just to make sure that it runs as optimal as possible. And we'll go from there.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to have everything running, but it's like every business, sometimes it feels a little all over the place, but so I'm just trying to tidy things up so that it has like a very nice operating system.
Do you eventually want to replace you on the back end where you can step out completely and just kind of oversee from a distance?
Yeah.
And then what do you think about starting another business or doing something new? Or are you pretty good where you're at?
It depends, I guess. I mean, if I can make it run where I don't really have to be a part of it, like that would be. Oh, I mean that sounds horrible. Not like in the sense.
No.
Just
literally creating a business. I mean, I would step out.
But not like. I mean, it's nice to be a part of it. Like I still want to be very much involved with like the food tastings and the restaurants and all that stuff. But like the operating itself, like if I can remove myself from that, it would make it even that much more enjoyable for me. So I feel like at that level, it wouldn't feel so much like work. And I guess when it comes to that point, I can look into, like maybe, do I want to expand as in more tours here in Vegas, or do I want to go to another city, or do I want to sell it and maybe just do something else completely?
Yeah.
But when I get to that point, then I feel like I'll make my decision.
Gotcha. Anything you want to say before we finish up?
No, not particularly. Yeah, it was great though.
Thank you so much. Everyone thinks I'm going to like fist bump them. Thank you for your time. It was a pleasure.
No, it was good. Thank you.
Thank you.